certain individuals and businesses not actually be successful, and those that actually truly are outstanding in their field. Well, what if I told you that the secret lies in actually uncovering something unique that is in within you? Some people call it your zone of genius. I like to call it your inner sparkle. That's what we're going to talk about today, helping you find your inner sparkle and how you can use that to create a course or a coaching program. So, hang in with me as we do our little dance party as we wait for everyone to come and join us live.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. Shine, darling. Shine. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine. Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
Hello, welcome to Strategy with Sally. This is our weekly live, and Cosmo's in the house today. So if you hear him chirping along in the background, it's because he's as excited as I am about today's content. So today I want to share with you what I like to call your inner sparkle, or other people might call it their zone of genius. And what I really want to help you do is to really guide you how to harness this concept of finding your inner sparkle, but not just to identify it, but to identify which is your inner sparkle that's going to take you from good to great, and then how you can also leverage it for really amazing success and fulfillment. And Cosmo is so excited. So before we dig in, however, I really wanted to share a little story with you. You see, there's lots of information out there, and you may have heard people tell you to follow your bliss or do what it is that lights you up. And you've probably seen lots of things on the interwebs and on the TV and loads of books and articles. And there are so many people out there trying to give you this really sound advice to find your passion. Does it sound about right? And with so many people trying to help you find your passion, you would think that the advice actually makes sense, right? It sounds right. Well, the answer is yes and no. And let me explain to you using, I guess, my own personal story as an example. So, I've always been an entrepreneur. Back when I didn't know I was an entrepreneur at 8, doing things to help to turn money into money and buying and selling things at the local market. But it wasn't until in 2004 that my husband and we actually lost our son, Dylan. And at this stage, this was when I realized life is so goddamn short. And this was when I actually made the decision that I really wanted to do what I love. I really want to follow my passion. I was really tired of working for somebody else. I was working in a corporate job, security, stability, opportunities for advancement, but I was really confused, and I was really at a crossroad in my life with the loss of Dylan. I wanted to do something that I loved. And I had many, many questions running through my head, like, who am I without a career? Or what if I leave? What am I actually going to be doing? And how can I ensure that I feel really fulfilled when it comes to the work that I'm doing? And I mean, these were just some of the thoughts that I really needed answers to. So, I'd heard the saying, and so I led with follow your passion, because I so badly, really, really, really wanted to stop having to prove myself and search for what I would see as my version of happy. So I jumped on the bandwagon of following my passion, and I really started to ride it for all that it was worth. And I tried many things that really took my fancy, like art, photography, graphic design, singing, playing the guitar, making jewelry, even face painting. And what I found was I was happy for a little while, but soon I started to feel like unfulfilled, and my bank account was not feeling very full either. So that wasn't looking great. So after a while, we got pregnant again, and I had my daughter. And after, I did the whole stay at home with a little side hustle, and I was doing a few jobs here and there, I decided that I was going to return to study and actually get a qualifications and a few pieces of paper. Now, I was doing some freelance graphic design that was doing okay, but I wanted to prove to myself that I had the knowledge. So I began with getting a diploma in graphic design. But what I found was while I was learning, I was helping the teachers. And I found that I had a love for teaching as well. So I also started to get a piece of paper so that I could be a qualified teacher, not just helping the teachers in the classroom. And then after, I was only part way through my graphic design diploma, I already started teaching. Then I went on to do my degree in communication design, marketing, film and TV. And after that, I went on to further study to get my master's in education. And you would think, now I've got all these bits of paper and I'm a qualified teacher, this should have been my happy ending, right? Or was it? And I've messaged Danny to come and get the bird, but I don't think he heard me because he's just getting really loud. So hopefully he's home. The joys of live. Okay, So anyway, I thought this was my happy ending, but I can tell you, partway through my study, I actually started to feel really misaligned. And I knew a few things. One, I did actually love it, which meant it was a passion. And I knew that I was good at it, which meant it was a skill. And also, I was contributing to others. And so, what the hell? Why was I not happy? What was up? Why did I lose my passion? I thought following my passion sounded really delightful, right? And then after reading a book, it was called Good to Great by Jim Collins, that's when I realized that in order for this to actually work in the real world where I'm making money, also loving what I'm doing, not working in a corporate job, I didn't just have to find my passion. That was not it. He actually referred to people who find their passion, but they're also finding fulfillment along the way. Now, some people kind of call it your zone of genius, following or finding your passion. I call it finding your inner sparkle. And you want to get that to fulfillment. Now, fulfillment is that place where both your passion, your gifts, your skills all come together in a community to help others. And this is really beautifully illustrated by Jim Collins in his book. And, he wrote this book for sort of the corporate world in that kind of context. But nonetheless, I still believe that it's really relevant to coaches, consultants, course creators, and the like. Now, his model is called the hedgehog model. And what it does is it shows us three main areas that you really need to have in place to ensure that you truly are great at something. And this is the essence of actually getting fulfillment. And it goes way beyond passion and because passion really isn't enough in order to not only, live a life where you're happy, but also an abundant life as well. So Cosmo is off his tree today. I'm like, of all the days, Cosmo, I'm going to type to my husband again, but I think we're just going to roll with it, right, guys? Okay, so let me head on over to a graphic that I can share with you now. Now, if you're listening to this out on the live stream, this is available for you over on YouTube so that you can come and see the graphic, and I'll try and explain it for you. But what it means, it begins with three circles. So picture three circles overlapping in the center. Okay, so in what it will show you is all three of these areas need to come together to truly find your inner sparkle. So let me show you here on this little graphic. So to me, here is your inner sparkle. Okay, this section in the middle is where your inner sparkle lies, where you can be living your best life, but also an abundant best life. Okay, so up in the first section up the top here, this is what's called your passion or your purpose in the first circle. Now, your passion and purpose, these are things that you are deeply passionate about, okay? So you feel really, really drawn to do. You feel like it's a purpose in life and a passion. Now, the next one is skills and also, skills and gifts. Now, what skills and gifts are, these are things that you can do, but also you could potentially be one of the best at it in the world, okay? Because it's a gift and a skill. And the third thing, and this is where most people, they don't think beyond, the passion, it's community. Now, the community is actually the driving engine to your economics. So it drives your economic engine, because if you make something that the community loves and they need, they're going to pay you for it. All right. So as you can see in this graphic, to find this inner sparkle here in the center, it's actually a portion of both your passion, purpose, skills, gift, and community. So it's plain to see that passion alone is not enough. So for us to be truly happy and feel like we're really contributing and making an impact in the world, this hedgehog concept is not just a goal to be the best, it is an intention to be the best, a plan to be the best, okay? And it is understandable that whatever it is that you choose to do, if you do it well, you can be the best. And this is the distinction that is really, really crucial for you to understand, is that you need all of these three things to make your course or your coaching program actually financially amazing, right? So the first thing you need to do in order for this to become real is, one, believe in yourself. I want you to own your place, what I call own your place on the line. You see, there are lots of places, lots of people out there that potentially are doing what you do, right? And they're better at it than you are. And they're the people that you should be looking up to for guidance, for inspiration. Those people that know more in your area of expertise than you. But those people aren't actually going to be the ones that buy from you. It's the other people on the other side of the line who want to be where you are at. So there are always going to be people that are going to be looking up to you, and they're the ones who you're going to want to help. Now, my story showed you how, following simply a love of face painting or art or photography or singing is not the solution. Because eventually you will be unsatisfied and unhappy if you are not making money as well to support yourself. So at this point, I want you to, first off, before we move into the first activity, which I'm going to give you activities today, is I want you to understand the difference between a passion and a hobby. Now, a passion is really that strong energy that you have to really drive you. It's a conviction. It's really a compelling belief or a view that you have behind it. So, for example, the first thing that I got really good at that was actually very profitable was design, because design became my focus. And I truly, deeply believe that the world is beautiful because of designers. Now, take a look around you. Everything you see, a designer has had a bit of a part in it. People, whether it's physical products or graphics, design and everything we create actually all stems from designing. So I know this to be true. And this is actually representative in my worldview. And it also taps into my values that I hold. And this is a huge reason why I started to follow art, photography, music, as I mentioned, because these are lots of things that I was trying on for size, right? I was trying them on saying, hey, is this my true passion forever? But what I found was a lot of them were just interests and hobbies. And if I was doing them all the time, I wasn't that happy. Like photography, I still love photography, but I don't want clients that they make me angry when they think that they can, go on a 1-hour photo shoot and only pay $50. And honestly, I just didn't have an innate drive to do it every day. And I didn't have the power to consistently be getting up and doing it every day. I really started to get over it after a while. So can you see the difference? I still design to this day, and we still teach people design. It's part of our program. It's an innate thing inside me because design is everywhere. So what I'm going to get you to do is we're going to talk about you making a list. Now, I want you to get 3 pieces of paper out. Okay, and this is going to be an actionable task for you. And we're going to break these 3 things down into bite-sized little chunks so that you can look at these 3 areas and start to make some decisions around working out what is your inner sparkle. So at the top of the first piece of paper, I want you to write the word passion. On the second one, or purpose. On the second one, I want you to write gifts on one side of the paper and skills on the other side of that one piece of paper. And then on the third one, you'll write community. So let's begin with passion. First off, you're going to write down all the things that you truly love to do. Now, this might also be a combination of both hobbies and interests. For example, you might like baking, right? That's an interest. Or maybe you love to sew. That's a hobby. Look at each of the lists, and I want you to make sure this is done, no matter where you're watching or listening to this. Maybe pause the video so that you get the doing done. But set a timer for 5 minutes and brainstorm out a whole list of them. Now, when you come back, what you're going to do is I want you to look at each of these things that you have written down, all of these passions and things that you think you've got a purpose for, a mixture of hobbies and interests. And I want you to ask yourself 3 questions about each of these things. Number 1 is, what am I doing in this task? So when you're doing the thing, what are you actually doing? The second thing I want you to ask yourself about that task is, what am I feeling when in this task? And the third thing is, what am I thinking while I'm doing this task? Now, what you'll find is soon you'll start to see a little bit of a pattern or a theme that starts to appear. So you'll start to see some things that really start to stand out clearly of what passions are, but not only what they are, but why are you passionate about them? What is it about those things that you're doing that make you feel certain ways or think in certain ways? And you will start to see an underlying thread or a pattern there that starts to link. Some of these activities actually will start to link together. All right. So once you've done the passion one, then you're going to move to gifts and skills. So the next area, let's begin with the gifts. Now, gifts are different to skills. So let's define the differences first. A skill is those things that you've actually studied for. Okay, so you've trained for them. Maybe you have a diploma or a piece of paper or a certification, something that you've learnt how to do and refined over time as well. Now, gifts are different because on the other hand, these are usually skills that you're born with. Things that come really easily to you, naturally. Now, sometimes with a gift, you don't actually see them because they're actually innately within you. So some examples, for instance, of a skill that I've got is automation, right? I've learned how to do automation. I've learned how to design. I've qualified to teach people. I've learned how to do sales and marketing. Now, in regards to gifts, I believe that a gift I have is being able to take complicated information and simplify it, because I see really complicated things in pictures. And that's why automation ended up becoming a skill, I believe. And designing as well. As a graphic designer in, say, the marketing niche, we do take a lot of complicated information and we simplify it. So, you know, that's a skill that I have, seeing the world and complicated information in pictures. Another one was, and this one I didn't actually know that I had. I was at a conference one day and we were all talking about doing sales calls. And I didn't understand why people were always so scared to do sales calls. I love learning about people, and I did go out and get education on how to sell because, you know, you're not born with that skill. But it came very easy to me. It was like, follow the system, lead with curiosity, and, you know, don't be scared to ask either. And to me, that was really easy. And the more I was talking about, you know, how well I was doing with the business and how many new clients we had, and then I was starting to share some of the strategies I use, somebody said to me, you know what? I don't think design and automation is just you. I think one of your, and they use the word zones of genius, so that hidden gift is sales, and you don't even know it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, actually, I don't find it hard. I don't get scared. It was definitely a skill I had to learn, but I was very good at it very easily because I just love helping people. So, as you can see, that was a gift I didn't even know about and was pointed out to me at a conference one day. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should help people with that. Other gifts that I've got is mentoring. And it's because I love coming up with new and innovative ways of thinking, or I love seeing patterns in things and numbers, right? And sexy numbers, and also connecting people. So these are skills that I've always had. I guess a lot of people, you know, they come to me and they ask me for help. I am that person when somebody's low, they'll like ring Sally for advice. All right. So the first set of learned things I want you to write a list of. And then secondly, underneath skills, I want you to write a list of gifts. So things that are naturally inside of you. Now, when you list out both the skills on one side of the paper and then brainstorm out your gifts, I also want you to please don't overcomplicate things. Anything you have learned or you're learning, just write it down. Then on the other side, write down gifts. And if you're having trouble, especially with the gift side, here's a few tips to help you with that. So the first thing to think of is, what do people often thank you for? Okay, that could be a gift that you didn't even realize. Or another thing is, what's something that you tend to always add into a situation when you're in it? What's some advice that you tend to be always really good at giving people and helping them with? And the third thing, why don't you just go and ask some friends or some clients about what they think is your inner sparkle? What makes you, you? Okay, and then that will hopefully help you fill out this list. Now, the third one, of course, is the community. This is the last area where you have to start to think about, how will you make a contribution and a connection? So your life so far, the path that you've been on, you have actually learned many, many things, lots of lessons, lots of things also that you value and that you hold closely, because it allows you to feel aligned and also perfect for helping and sharing that information with different communities or tribes. Okay, so this does not have to be business related. However, you know, most of the time it is. So take a client of mine, right, who was really confused around what it was that she could give back to the community. She was always helping handmade artists, okay, but she didn't know how. And she was running markets or large vendor events, And she came to me feeling really confused around where and how should she be helping people. She knew she wanted to teach people something, to have something online, and she had these skills and these gifts that she could help people with, but she didn't know what to focus down in on. And for her, it felt really impossible for her to know where to begin. But by helping her see what she was really passionate about, and she loves hand making things, and she was always really good at that. And then she started running these vendor events and found that she was very, very good at organizing large amounts of people in a large space to run very successful events, that she ended up running the largest Etsy market in Tasmania. But when she started with me, she didn't see that correlation. And then she realized that her unique inner sparkle, that thing that she got more clarity around, was she wanted to help people, but then she also could teach people how to be a really good vendor as well. So then she ended up teaching for Etsy, helping handmade artists teach to do really well on Etsy stores. She helped handmade artists understand how to set their tables up for success at vendor events. And she was teaching handmade artists how to really get their products and services out there. Then she started to feel really, really aligned with her work. She would even send me messages. She would see different stadiums and, fields of grass, and she would think, oh, I could run a market there. So not only was she planning and doing markets, but she was also helping and teaching the vendors how to actually have a really great stall. So, figuring out how you can help your community in a way sometimes can also be a little tricky. So here's a couple of other tips for you to think about. Think about your life and the path you've been on. Think about things that you've overcome, milestones that you've been through in life, or blessings that you've had, triumphs that you've had, challenges, and even losses that you've had. Now, I don't want you to write pages and pages and pages on this. Just a little summary will do. But I want you to look at each one of these things that you've written down, and I want you to ask yourself, what did this thing teach me about myself and the world? And the second question, what would best benefit what would best benefit people by learning the lessons or the gifts and the passions that I've learned? And this is what will help you find your tribe. Okay, those people who actually want to learn from you. Now, when you found your tribe, you can see now we've got the tribe, right? Your community that wants help. You've worked out what your passions and gifts are and your skills. And now following just a passion blindly is actually really dangerous advice, because what can happen is you can end up wandering aimlessly, really confused, and not actually knowing which way you want to go. So rather than just writing down a list of passions, I want you to also now consider those gifts, those skills, and the community that you can hone in on to really serve and help them with your inner sparkle, so that you can start really living a life that is fulfilling. Now, I know once you write this list, you're going to have a brain exploding with information and probably many, many different course ideas floating around inside that beautiful brain of yours. And who are you actually going to serve? And which course are you going to choose? And this could be a really big challenge if you're trying to do a course. So there are a few things to consider, but the biggest thing I want you to really do is, if this is your first time of building a course or wanting to put a course together, or even if it's, an iteration or another pivot for you, once you decide on something, choose one thing. Okay, what is that one thing going to be? And some things to take into consideration when choosing the one thing is what's going to be the quickest thing for you to make, and also what's also going to give you profit. What is the fastest path to profit? Now, there is lots of ways in which I can help you to do that. And if you would love to dig deeper into taking now this massive list of things and coming up with the one course idea, I would love to invite you to register for our upcoming course creation challenge that is happening in the month of February 24. So if you want to help, and you want help and guidance to really turn all of these ideas and choose one and dial it into an online course, then please come and join me. And you can register today at sparkleclaszacademy.com/CCC, which stands for Course Creation Challenge. All right, so in this 3-day event, I have one promise for you. If you follow the steps and the strategies that we're going to go through, in 3 days, you will have mapped out your course. And then we're going to have a bonus session where you're going to turn it into an actual course online. So after the 3 days and a bonus day of actually putting it into an online platform, you will have a sellable course. Sounds pretty cool, right? So I want you to go head to sparkleclaszacademy.com/CCC for Course Creation Challenge. All right, go and register today. We'll see you in February of 24. So not the 24th of February. Sometime in February on the 24th, it'll be on the page. I should have got my team to tell me the date. I don't remember. I know it's in February, but come and join us. It's going to be an awesome challenge that we're running. And I truly believe that all of humanity, like every single person out there, does have a course inside them, but you actually also need to have a passion to want to help people. So if you're somebody who really wants to help people transform lives and share your inner sparkle with the world, then our Course Creation Challenge is a really good start to kickstart that and, get it down to that one idea that really can help lots of people that will be willing to pay to learn from you. Well, as always, guys, this is Strategy with Sally. We are here same time every single week. No matter where you're watching this, I would love you to take a screenshot or listening to this and tag me over on social and let me know what was your biggest key takeaway from today's recording. Anyway, guys, have a great week. We'll be here same time as always next week, and never let anyone dull your sparkle. And make sure you get at least one income-producing activity done each and every day. And I will see you next week, same time. Bye for now.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.